Hey, good morning, everybody. We'll give it a one or 2 minutes, see if anybody else shows up, and then we'll get cooking here.
Hey, Dan.
Yo, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Hey, just real quick, I know other people are on here, but with all your falls on your one wheel, did you do any special soaks or anything to kind of help your body heal a little bit quicker?
So, yeah, and I apologize. My audio might suck because I'm in the car still. But regardless, I used some blue, that blue emo oil. Do you know what that is?
No, never heard of it.
So it's supposed to be an oil absorbent to help your skin take in whatever you might be rubbing on top of it. But then, I just use some of that heat and cold stuff. But most of the time, the first week or so was all ice packs and just a lot of cold and a lot of pain. And there's really just not much you can do about it.
Yeah. I don't know if you had seen, but I choked really bad the other day, and Josh had to give me the Heimlich maneuver. And
I saw that. I was going to ask.
I am totally he had to do it good,
Oh, that's scary.
Well, I don't know. I mean, definitely bruised ribs, but may very well have a cracked rib. And I'm just every time I move.
Oh, yeah.
And shortness of breath and my God, I was Dan has gone through some.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, actually, it's funny you bring that up. I have a cracked rib right now from Sunday. I kind of went up in the air really high when I was kiting and came down pretty hard. And I didn't really realize it until the other day when I went to go twist and do some yoga. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. And yeah, it hurt really, really bad. Oh, I'm sorry. My video's still off. Hold on a second here. We should be live up on Facebook, at least just in the company again. I do need to check. Hold on a second. Let me make sure. Hey, Michelle Hoyt. This is awesome. We got Michelle here.
Well, I just got the invite, so
nice.
Notice. Or did you get an injury? I'm nursing a sore back myself. I think I heard it either working out or golfing. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, good to see you guys.
Good to see you too.
I'm at the beach today.
All right, hold on a second here.
My virtual beach.
Hey guys, nice. Not that this is a competition, but I think I have you all beat because I have a broken kneecap.
That's right. That's right.
Good Lord. So we all need Epsom salt baths and tall glasses of wine.
Yes, that's what it sounds like, for sure. So I'm at the office, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go inside, I guess, but I gotta put my mask on. Do you guys? So the topic for the day, it's gonna go really, really quick. But I hope everybody gets a lot of sharing in, because I think it has a lot to do with some business stuff. And if I can just find my sheet, I apologize. I forgot my bike on my way in, and I'm meeting someone to bike today, so I kind of had to have that. Okay, here we go. So how many people here or on the call, or even if you're watching this later and you want to comment, how many of you have ever been to an AA meeting or an Al-Anon meeting for Alcoholics Anonymous, or for the family of an alcoholic, or Narcotics Anonymous, or anything like that? How many of I have? Okay, Natalie has.
Grateful for it.
Okay, so I don't want to. We're not going to go in. I'm not trying to turn this into an Al-Anon meeting or anything else like that. But what I am expressing is there are 12-step programs out there that people may or may not be familiar with. And one of the steps in most programs when dealing with any hardship. And what I am talking about here is our businesses, right? Or at least the influence that our businesses put on our lives and our time and everything else. But one of those steps is dealing with resentment. And so for those of you that don't know, I am going to go inside. So don't look at my screen if motion makes you sick. I apologize. I'm going to switch over here so I can go just plug into some power and stuff inside. But in any event, resentment is one of those things. And it's something you have to start to deal with when you're going through one of these 12-step processes, and your resentment with a person who has had a negative impact or an infliction on your life. Well, guess what? I had this thought process about when I was thinking about resentment, and I was like, oh my goodness, what if we talked about it from the standpoint of, is your business and or your job, your hours you put in that you obviously aren't doing for volunteer work, are those things, do you resent them? Do you resent a part of your business? Do you resent certain tasks in your business? Do you resent people that you're having to deal with in your business every day? And if the answer is yes, you have landed yourself in the right meeting. So here's the deal. Like, I started looking at all the things I know people are resentful of me for when it comes to, like, not just addiction, but just things in general, right? Then I started thinking about, like, oh my God, what are all these things within the real estate world that I now resent, and tech being one of those things, or whatever your thing is. What have you become? What have you come to resent? And if you were to treat it like resentment, and then I'm literally going to shut up, and I want everybody here to share at least just one thing about resentment, if you can. There's two things that were shared with me. And I want you to consider, I'm not talking about a person. I'm talking about your business. So I'm going to say two things, and I'll put them on the comments so you can look at them later. Here's the two quotes. Resentment. It's like taking a poisonous pill, only it doesn't hurt you. It hurts someone else. Okay. That hit me like a ton of bricks in the head and a sledgehammer. Like, oh my God, when you subscribe to resentment, it's like you taking a pill, a poisonous one that will hurt you. You know it when you swallow it, but it doesn't hurt you. It hurts someone else, and you swallow it anyway. That's the first one. And the second one, if you're carrying around resentment like a dog chew toy, you have the same opportunity to go pick it up every morning and set it down every night. How long you carry it throughout the day is up to you. Those are the two things that I would like to leave with you guys, and then see what you have to say about resentment in your business, or resentment in general in your lives and how it affects your business. Maybe whatever you want, go. What, too deep for a Wednesday morning, or what's wrong?
Well, this was my first time attending one of your meetings. That's pretty intense, Dan.
I had some deep thought over there.
Yeah, that was, it's good.
It's going to take you maybe a while to respond, but I really, really want you to look at your business and look at the pieces that you're resenting right now. I am resenting several pieces of my business right now, and it's making me act like an asshole in my other parts. That's all. That's what's happening to me. It may not be happening to anyone else in this call. I don't know.
I'll share. I have a story. So I briefly shared this in our Facebook group, asking if there's any houses coming available for this buyer. But I had a buyer who outright told me that he was playing me against another agent to then eventually get us to find the house for him. And then whoever found him the house first, he would then use that agent. And it was a struggle. And I had been helping him for the past year, did not know about this. And didn't show him too many houses, but stayed in touch, emailed him, pretty frequently. And he was appreciative of all the help. Told him all about like the school system, the rezoning that was happening in Middleton. And then all of a sudden he said that he reconnected with an old friend who's now an agent, and he's now going to start using that agent to help him. And I could have got really upset about that, all the time that I put in. However, I sent back a nice email to that buyer saying, hey, no problem at all. I just want you and your family to find the best house, the best situation for you. Well, I think he was taken off guard by that, came back and said, okay, thanks, Tyler, really appreciate it. How about I use both of you, and the first person to find me a house, I'll sign the agreement with. I agreed. So I'm like, you know what? I'll see what happens. I'm new to the industry, and I'll take whatever business I can get. And turns out I found him the first house, and we close next month. And it's my largest deal that I have in the past, year and a half that I've been in the industry. So my perseverance and just being nice turned out to win. So I could have been resentful, and I could have been super angry and said, F you, I'm gone. I'm not going to put in my time. It turned out, and karma won in this one. So
that's stellar, bro. That's really, really stellar. I've gotten referrals from people that turned me down, by the way. I know we shared that in one of our coaching sessions, right? If you can so gracefully accept defeat, you'll get referrals from those people. Even if you wouldn't have gotten that deal, they would have felt the same way, worked with the other person, and within the next 6 months would have referred you their sister, their brother, or their cousin, somebody super close to them, and not to the person they ended up using, even if you didn't get that one. So don't feel like if anybody just heard his story and was like, oh, I did that, but it didn't work. It won't work every time. But if you do accept defeat gracefully like that, I'm telling you, there's deals that'll pop up right out of that. No problem. That's awesome, Tyler. Thank you for sharing that. Big time.
Thank you.
I'll share with you guys. I am resentful of, there's a lot of shady people in this industry. Just straight up, just shady cutthroats. And I've had like a couple of incidences in the past couple of weeks that would if I shared it with people, they would like, what the hell? How did that happen? So I sent a referral to Richmond, Virginia, and it was a listing referral. Call the person. Yeah, no problem. I'll sign that referral agreement. Signed it. Called and followed up with her and saying, hey, how's it going? Well, Natalie, I know this person from a friend who's a lender. I would have had this deal regardless. But, I'm going to pay you regardless, but because I'm a person of my word. And I was like, okay. Well, then she went on this listing appointment. She walked in as a buyer as an investor and says, you know what? I'll just buy the property outright from you. So I don't know. I'm going to wait until money changes hands and things get closed. But to see if she pays out my referral, but she didn't write any contracts as a listing agent. She talked my seller into doing a for sale by owner, and she was going to be in the investor buyer. So, and that's just kind of like a little glimpse. I had two other ones that were. And just so everybody knows,
that's local. So, but yeah, we won't name names on this on a call or anything like that. We got to.
Oh yeah, that's actually in Richmond, Virginia.
That one, yeah, but the other one that you were talking about is deathly familiar and similar to the one that just happened here too. So, man, the resentment of that. So you're not bringing up anything new to our industry, unfortunately, and probably not new to most, I guess, sales industries, at least from what I've experienced in the last 20 years or so.
But you know what? To kind of take that back, Dan, shame on me for not referring another RE/MAX agent.
Yeah. Oh, well, you thought you were doing the right thing. You're a business owner first. You're a business owner first, an agent second, and a RE/MAX person third. So sure. I say that too, I've also had horrible experiences with RE/MAX referrals. It happens. It will happen to you.
So my resentment is my big resentment is that, and we all have this in life, where you spread kindness and somebody took it as your weakness.
Yeah.
And that I think that's a resentment that we've all, that's the dog toy we've all carried around. And we've all maybe even associated it with a different type of, associated with that type of person, like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sit here and say, I will never work with a XYZ company ever again. I'm not like that. I know it's individual.
Sure.
But dang, when you get burned a few times, you get resentful.
I think one thing important, what you just brought up, you're like, man, I resent the scumbags. I resent the people within our own industry that, make everything harder, right? I will say this too. I mean, look at what's going on, not to, go too much into the valve over there, but look what's happening to police officers, for instance. You take a large group of people and there's a lot of shitbag police officers. There's a lot of shitbag realtors. There's a lot of shitbag doctors.
I don't know a whole lot about the realty industry, but yeah. I feel for you guys. I can't imagine it being that irritated. My aunt has been buying and flipping and renting out, stuff since I was a little kid, and we remodel stuff, and she kind of had something like that go on with a contractor she was subcontracting for. Eventually, she ended up making her own contracting company because it just screwed her out of like a little over 10 grand. I don't remember the exact details, but it's got to be worse. Like playing with sharks and having your period. I can't imagine.
So can I ask, sorry, I don't mean to hijack the meeting, but Natalie, How did you find that person? Because between Dan and I, we know practically everyone in RE/MAX. And so like, I'm trying to figure out.
But Michelle, I am trying to tell Natalie and others to create their own RE/MAX network. So as much as that's what I mean. Like you and I have our own network. Well, and I will say this though, I have use the RE/MAX network whenever possible. And then every once in a while, there is a situation where it was just like, wow, this has to be that way. But I always try. That being said, I now don't refer another RE/MAX agent unless a fellow RE/MAX agent of mine has already used them. No offense to new people that are on this call. I know that sounds horrible. Like, how am I ever going to get them if I don't get them? You'll get them. And then when you do a great job, you'll be able to say that, you'll be able to post that, it'll be evidence, and you'll get many more. But from that standpoint, now I won't use somebody unless someone else can say they've used them and it was good. As far as a referrals goes, my referrals are too important to me. I don't sell much anymore, so my income is actually, part of my referrals and stuff like that. So they're more important to me, and I don't want to lose them like that. But Ann, thanks for sharing. Contractors, she just said it. There's a bunch of crappy contractors too, right?
Builders will try to cut you out.
Absolutely. So let's talk about let's talk about that. And if anyone, Tyler, Scott, Justin, Rhonda, Michelle, want to share on the resentment side, please. I want to get back to you. Where though, let's use the ones that you've brought up already, contractors, things like that. How does that resentment affect your attitude? Because here, I'll explain mine. And I did this wrong once, just so you know, I lost a deal because of this. I worked with a particular builder who tried to cut a lot of people out like that, a lot of agents out. But I was like, God dang it, they build a great house. They do a good job. And heck, there's not a lot of them around, right? So that's kind of the conundrum we find ourselves in right now, right? The demand is high and there's just not enough good ones. So from that standpoint, I didn't want to refer this particular person, but I did. And I was super upfront, like, don't try and screw me, right? Don't try and whatever. And I still got screwed, right? So I didn't get paid out on a build. And I was really upset about it. Super, super upset about it. I completely severed that relationship. I never worked with that person again. I still haven't. However, 2 years later, I talked to the person who built with them. They weren't very happy with what happened. And if I would have been kept in touch with them just from the standpoint of hope all is still going well, Hope life is grand, because I put them in the same bucket, like with Tyler's story. I put them in the same bucket that they screwed me. Okay. And that was and I held on to that resentment for a long, long time. It was really easy to put down when they said, actually, it didn't go all that well, and we wish we would have just paid you to help us, because then this wouldn't have happened. Right. Well, that was 2 years. I probably could have found that out at like what, the 3-month mark, 4-month mark. How many referrals did I miss out on by being a resentful little prick over it? So there's mine. Rhonda, Tyler, Scott, Justin, anybody else on the call, or anybody that might be on Facebook or anything else? Anybody? How resentment is affecting you or your business right now, or your life?
I would have to say one of my biggest resentments, and it's my own fault, is that a lot of my buyers and sellers feel like they can call me any time of the day.
Okay.
And not text me or not email me, but call me. And I feel so guilty not picking up that phone. But sometimes I'm like, I look at the phone and think, no, and just put it down. And I resent that they feel like they can do that.
Sure. And I would say this, right? Like, nobody can read minds. And if you haven't put out a communication promise or some sort of expectation, and this is a great plug for having a communication promise with every single client you have. Every time you take a new person, hell, you can make it a recurring video that you send out. Welcome to Rhonda's House of Real Estate, or whatever. The first thing that I want to do with each and every client is set a proper expectation for communication. That being said, I am not available 24 hours a day. My resources are available 24 hours a day. But me personally, as the business owner and the boss of what I've got going on, I'm not. It's impossible for me to do so. That being said, here's my promise to you. Here are my hours. Here are the expectations. Here who you text if you can't get a hold of me for this, that, or the other, right? Form email, use it over and over and over. And Rhonda, then you can take that guilt and flush it down the toilet, along with whatever other guilt that you're harboring for stuff that you probably shouldn't be.
Thank you. I know it's my own doing.
It is, yes.
I know that.
And you're taking in those 12-step programs, that's actually one of the other steps, is taking, or actually part of the resentment step, but it's you taking your percentage of responsibility for that resentment, right? So it's not about the person calling you. It's not about the other thing that you hold resentment towards. It's about what you're doing, right? Or what your portion of it is the only part you can control anyway. So since you can't read their minds and they can't read yours, and you can't control their fingers and when they use their phone or their computer or anything else, it's 100% on you to control. So my ringer goes off, my notification, ding, bing, bing, whatever. It goes off at 10 p.m. and it comes back on now at 6 a.m. So that's notifications. I can still decide at 9:30 p.m. if I get a text from Michelle Hoyt because she really needs me at 9:30 p.m. for something, which happens. I sometimes need her at 9:30 p.m. It's rare, but every once in a while. And she can decide whether she's going to respond to me. She's the one who decides whether she sees that notification. If I'm holding resentment towards communications with people, and that's where yours is rooted, our communications in real estate are annoying as hell. Right now, more than ever, right? They're just flat out annoying. There's no better descriptive word than annoying. We have way too many channels. We have way too many places we got to check. We lose too much shit. I understand why you have resentment. How about Tyler, Scott, or Justin? You guys got anything? I won't make you, by the way. I'm just asking. Nada? Well, I'll leave it open then for questions or just other discussion if you guys have any suggestions for one another for what you did bring up or anything like that. And then it's 9:52, so I think we'll close up at 10 a.m. so that we're done in 30 minutes this week. So if anybody has anything they'd like to cross share or anything else, please have at it.
Tyler, congratulations on your accepted offer. That sounds awesome. You should be really proud of yourself that you didn't give up, because most of us probably would have.
Thank you very much, Natalie. Appreciate that. It was super exciting. That was an awesome day. I felt really good after that one.
Right on. Justin May, I know you can probably hear me, and maybe you've got Oliver squeaking in the background there, but I'll talk with you a little bit later today. Justin and I are doing some task management and familiarization and stuff like that, so that's all good. Tyler R., I hope all is well with you. And Scott, if you guys can still hear us, I hope all is well with you. Does anybody else have anything? Going once? Going twice? Nobody can say Dan doesn't get a meeting done in 23 minutes ever again, can I? Huh? Have a good day, everybody.
Getting better, Dan.
See ya.
See ya.